Hello everybody and welcome to Nathan on Shuffle and to my latest episode of New Music Weekly, the show where I give you guys the top prog news headlines for the week, introduce you guys to some new prog singles, and give you updates on what's happening here on the channel on Nathan on Shuffle. It's August 21st, 2026, and it's admittedly been a while since I've done a video, been about 3 weeks or so. So there's a lot of news to catch up on. I'm basically just doing the highlights of what's happened in the last few weeks. There's been a lot of cool stuff, a lot of great new albums to look forward to, and I'm excited to dive into it. I decided to take a little bit of a break. I did my top 40 albums series, which was a lot of fun, but decided, to take a couple weeks to just, relax and to enjoy time at home. So that was really nice, and now ready to dive into it. And I have a lot of big plans for stuff to do with the channel moving forward, so I think there's going to be quite a bit more content in the near future. I did go to a concert over the past couple weeks. Last Friday, I believe, I went with my parents and my wife and my best friend to go see Neil Morse Band in Anaheim. And it was a fabulous experience, one of the best concerts I've been to in recent memory. Neil Morse Band never misses. They're just an incredible band. They're performing at Morse Fest this weekend. They're going to do a Morse Fest in the UK in a couple weeks as well. They're playing their whole new Lift album, which is an incredible album, definitely in contention for one of my favorites of this year, and you'll see it place very highly, I'm sure, at my end of the year album tournament. So a lot of exciting stuff happening for me, even though I haven't filmed a lot of content. But that was an excellent concert, so I wanted to mention it at the top of the show. And several people recognized me and said hi to me, so that was really fun. My dad was pretty giddy about that. He was excited to see people recognize me from the channel and stuff. So I thought overall it was just a really excellent experience, and it's kind of reignited my flame of loving prog music, loving to do this channel, and really grateful for all your support and for people who are willing to come up to me and say hi, and it means a lot to me. So thank you guys. And diving into the new releases over the past several weeks, on July 31st, if you believe it, going back that far, I haven't done an episode since that. Lalu came out with the album A Mythmaker's Demise, prog rock, little bit of flavors of AOR and just classic rock from the 70s and 80s. Really great stuff, really enjoyable, great vocals, great playing. That's one to check out. Eric Gillette came out with his solo record, The Watcher, which I don't believe is on streaming services, but you can purchase from him if you would so desire. I have my autographed copy here, just thought I'd briefly show it off. I'll be talking about it for sure in my July and August album review roundup. I think it takes a lot of cues from Neil Morse Band, a cool sprawling concept record, very much in that heavy prog metal vein, but excellent playing from Eric Gillette. So I really enjoy that record. Papangu came out with the album Celestial on August 7th. And it's really mostly classic prog, from the 70s, very jazz and Canterbury inflected. There's some very slight peppering of some of the harsh vocals that they do on their previous releases, but it's very slight. But it's an excellent new release, one of the most exciting new young bands that are out there. I believe they're from Brazil, and just fantastic. I'm going to be talking about it a lot on the channel soon, so be prepared for me to do a glowing spotlight on this record. So really fantastic. The Bardic Depths also released their final record, Some Things Are Worth Remembering, which is way more in the big train kind of melodic prog vein, throwback, just really beautiful, sounds like classic Genesis and Camel and all that kind of stuff. So Peter Jones does vocals on that, who's been an excellent modern day vocalist in the prog scene, so I love that one. The Anchoress came out with the record, As We Once Were, female alternative artist, kind of along the lines of a Kate Bush. That was fantastic on August 7th. On the 14th of August, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard released their latest record, Alien Metal. Not really my total bag. It's kind of more in the EDM, electronic, dance music kind of vein. But if you're into that band who does a lot of disparate different styles of music, kind of psych band, jam band, so to speak, You might want to check out that work from them. This weekend, on the 21st, we've got Improvement Movement with their album Your Perfect Real Life. This is more of an indie rock band that I've been enjoying, but they do some complex music as well, and maybe more in the style of like a Steely Dan or something along those lines. But a band that's really been impressing me as of late, so I wanted to mention them quickly. And then Pattern Seeking Animals came out with their record Grimalkin today as well, which is, members of Spock's Beard past and present, the brainchild of John Baghold, who co-wrote some songs for Spock's Beard post Neil Morse leaving. And has a very specific aesthetic and style to it, very melodic prog with some cinematic touchstones. I'm going to be doing a review of this record this week, so check out my review upcoming, where I'll dive a little bit more into this record and my thoughts on it. But a very solid, cool new prog record that I think most fans of the genre should enjoy. So that's really what I've got for you with the new releases. Now let's jump into some prog news, some stuff that's coming up that I'm quite excited about. Item number 1, I'm excited about the new Flower Kings record coming out called Hope. This is their 18th studio record. They have a new single out called In a World of Fools. And I'll remind you in the description, I've linked a YouTube playlist that lists all the singles that I'll be talking about in the episode. Basically, it's a running list of all of the great prog singles from throughout the year. So a great way to check out new music, to like keep up with what's hot on the prog singles chart and all that kind of stuff. I like to run this kind of stuff as if, I used to love tracking like the Billboard charts and the top singles that would make the list on those. This is kind of my version for prog, I think. So, the new single In a World of Fools will definitely be on that playlist. This is a follow-up to their 2025 album, Love. And it's exciting for us prog fans because it has 2 epics on it. The first track is 18 minutes and 45 seconds, and the final track is 28 minutes and 15 seconds. I've been really hoping for Roy Stolt to come out with a big epic, because that's what I love with the Flower Kings, is there were big epic tracks from back in like the mid-90s and early 2000s. And they haven't really done one like since basically Numbers from Banks of Eden. So really excited for this new album. I think it could be a really strong one from the band. It seems like they're really excited about it. In a World of Fools, even though a bit more, laid back and a bit more ballad-esque, is still beautiful and sumptuous and gorgeous. Great symphonic sound, classic Flower King sound that I've come to love. And so if they can bring in a couple of cool meaty epics similar to like Stardust We Are, and The Garden of Dreams and all of those big seminal classics, count me on board. I'm really excited for the new record by Flower Kings. That is coming out, let me check the date, October 23rd on Inside Out Music. So that's coming up not too far down the road. It's available for pre-order from all the usual suspects. Available as limited CD plus Blu-ray digipack featuring Dolby Atmos and 5.1 surround sound mixes by Rich Mauser. A first for the band. That was exciting to see Rich Mauser's involved because he's makes some of my favorite music of all time, obviously. The album will also be available as a standard CD jewel case and gatefold 2LP and, of course, digitally. So very excited. I'll be talking about that. I'll be doing a review, certainly, of that record. The Pineapple Thief announced a new studio album as well called Far and Wide, and a new single to promote it called New World Order. It's also on my singles list. Pineapple Thief have been rising in my estimation. I really like the modern iteration of the band, especially with drummer Gavin Harrison, who of course is known for his work with Porcupine Tree. But this is basically the brainchild of Bruce Sword, who is an incredible musician, and he also makes his albums and is very involved in the modern prog scene. And I like their sound. It's not overtly like over the top proggy, but it's more like this kind of alternative heavy prog, kind of similar to like Riverside and Porcupine Tree, of course, but very accessible and catchy tracks with excellent playing, excellent drum work. The new track is really fantastic. So hard hitting, just cool rock songs that I really enjoy from the band. I think they have just a fun, cool aesthetic. So check out Far and Wide, their new album that's coming out. This is going to be out on October 9th via Inside Out Music. So Inside Out has some really cool releases coming up between these two, and of course the Pure Reason Revolution coming out as well. That album's called Terrifying Angels. So a lot of great records coming from Inside Out. I'm a huge fanboy of the label and pretty much all of the artists that are on it. So But yeah, Far and Wide should be a lot of fun. It's going to be available in several formats, including a limited 2 CD and Blu-ray art book featuring the bonus track Daylight, as well as a second CD of instrumentals, and a Blu-ray featuring Dolby Atmos, DTS HD 5.1 surround sound, and 24/48 stereo mixes. The album will also be available as a special edition CD, Digipack, Gatefold LP, and several color variants, and digitally as both stereo and Dolby Atmos. So the whole kit and caboodle, whatever format you want, should be available for this record. It's up for pre-order as well. Timic, another big release coming this year. Timic announced their new album Seba and released their first single Cease to Be. This is somewhat of a supergroup. They kind of use that label, but I don't know if I'd technically call it a supergroup, but I guess it's because we have, of course, Eric Gillette in the band, who's from Neil Morse band, on guitars. We've got, Diego from Hackett coming on board as well. So you got some joining forces of people from different bands in the prog and prog metal spaces. But I liked their previous record, so I'm really excited for this sophomore release from them. And it comes out October 2nd on Seasons of Mist. And they released a track from it. I have had the privilege of being able to start listening to this record, promo copy. Definitely will be reviewing on the channel. I think it's a step up from their previous record. Just really great prog metal, in the modern variety. Hard hitting, but not too over the top like harsh metal or anything like that. So really enjoy their sound, really excited for their trajectory here. And I'll be talking about the record, certainly. It's available, just like all these others. This one's available for pre-order as well, from whatever sites you want to check it out on. So, new Timic, excited. Steve Rothery and Steve Hackett are releasing a record, and they just released a new single, Red Dragon, from this album. The album's called The Roaring Waves, which actually comes out August 28th, next Friday. Excited to hear this one. 2 virtuosos on the guitar. Steve Hackett, of course, of Genesis fame and having an illustrious solo career. Steve Rothery from Marillion. And they've released 2 tracks so far. This one, and of course, there was a previous one that was a little bit more laid back and atmospheric, but this one's a little bit more heavier and hard rocking, so to speak. It's an instrumental record. It sounds beautiful so far. Excited to check out the whole album next weekend. I'm certain I'll be talking about it in some capacity, either a full-length review or some kind of, roundup episode. But I'm just really excited because I love these 2 players, and I think this should be a really solid record from them. Also available on a variety of different formats, like everything else. Limited CD, Blu-ray, media book edition, including Dolby Atmos and high-resolution stereo mixes. Available as a standard CD and a gatefold 180-gram LP, cut at half speed at Abbey Road Studios. And so it's available for pre-order and will be out next weekend. Beat, the, King Crimson band, Adrian Belew, Steve Vai, Tony Levin, and Terry Bozzio, announce U.S. 2026 tour dates. This is a cool, I don't know if I almost wanted to call it King Crimson tribute band, but it's a little bit more than just a tribute band, because it features member like Adrian Belew, who's from King Crimson, and features these really high level musicians playing this really intricate, cool 80s King Crimson music. Everyone who goes to see this show is really excited about it. It seems like on their earlier iteration, they had Danny Carey on drums from Tool, so he's being replaced by Terry Bozzio for this tour. But it should be exciting. There's tickets on sale. They're playing pretty close to my neck of the woods. Their final date on December 3rd is in Riverside, California, which is, 30 minutes away from me. So I'm tempted. I'm not a huge King Crimson fan, as a lot of you know, but to see these all-star musicians playing this really cool, intricate music might be worth it anyways. I'm always looking for stuff to take my dad to go see because he likes to go to concerts with me, and I feel like it's often difficult to find the right kind of concert to take my dad to, because a lot of my modern bands, they'll play in small clubs, standing room only, and my dad, I don't really think he wants to stand for a whole concert and be in a crowded club or anything. And I don't like to go to the heart of LA to these seedy venues to be able to see bands I like. But when they come to different areas that are closer to me, that are more accessible, that are in nicer theaters, then I'm more interested, and this fits that bill. That's why I was excited to see Neil Morse band in Anaheim at the House of Blues. It was a perfect place to be able to go see them without having to go into the depths of LA to see them. But We'll see. Something on my list here that I'm interested in. Not sure. Me and my dad do have a concert scheduled to see the Musical Box, so that should be cool. Genesis tribute band. So, anyways, some asides there. Just kind of going off on some tangents, but I think you guys will be okay with it. Hackett also announced some tour dates in the UK and Ireland, a headline tour in February 2027. They just released their EP In a Fever Dream, which I enjoy. You know, at first I was a little thrown off by it because it's a little bit different and more modern sounding and alternative, and, you know, has some interesting production techniques, but I've grown to really love it and appreciate it for what it is. But they're doing some dates from the 1st of February in Belfast all the way to the 7th of February in London. Support comes from ILO and Black Orchid Empire, who are both bands that I really like, so great bill there. They're also going to be on Cruise to the Edge. They're basically on Cruise to the Edge every year, so they got some great shows coming up. I saw they just announced a touring bassist, I believe, for these tour dates. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but it's cool that they're moving forward as a four-piece. You know, they lost a couple key band members, but I like how they're forging ahead with who they have in their lineup right now. Now, just to talk about a couple of other singles that have come out over the past couple weeks. Asia had a new single, Echo of You, from their upcoming album Indigo, which is out November 6th. This is much more of a lighter, more ballad type track, but really beautiful and a great showcase for the current lineup of Asia. Really enjoying what Asia is bringing to the table. Their previous single, The Traveler, Into the Light, was just fantastic. You know, bringing back that kind of 80s poppier prog aesthetic, and I really like that. They're going to be on Cruise to the Edge as well, so I'm really curious to hear their new album, and I'll definitely be talking about it on the channel as well, probably giving it a full-length review, since it's a pretty major release in my eyes. And the lineup for current iteration of Asia is Jeff Downes, Virgil Donati, John Mitchell, and Harry Whitley. And speaking of John Mitchell, more John Mitchell news. He's releasing a Lonely Robot record, the final Lonely Robot record, on September 11th. And he just released a single from it called Show the Way, which is a wonderful, excellent single. I really love all the Lonely Robot stuff. John Mitchell is one of my modern prog heroes. He's in like so many of my favorite bands, from It Bites to Frost to Arena, now Asia. Just a fantastic all-around musician, great voice, great guitar playing. So I'm sure the Lonely Robot record is going to be fantastic, featuring him on vocals, guitars, bass guitars, keyboards, Craig Blundell on drums, and some additional guitar by Jez Fielder. So that should be a really cool record. I'm looking forward to, even though I'm kind of sad that it's the final Lonely Robot record, because I think all the Lonely Robot albums have been fantastic. But time to move on to some other things, I'm sure, but that's going to be really cool. Also, a new single by Downes Braid Association. This is a collaboration between Jeff Downes and Chris Braid. And they're coming out with their 6th album, Trauma, and the single is called Wonderland, so I threw that on my list. The album Trauma is coming out September 28th via Cherry Red Records. You know, just classic sounds from these like luminary prog artists. You know, something worth checking out. To see what that sounds like. We've also got Green Carnation sharing a new single from their forthcoming record, Dark Poem Part 3, The Messiah Complex. The track's called The Messiah Complex. That comes out September 4th on Season of Mist, the third part of a trilogy of records they've been doing. A fairly short record, but kind of a cap on this like whole album series that they've been doing over the past couple years. More of a heavier prog band veering into like prog metal lane. But with fantastic vocals and a great aesthetic to them as well. So those are the main things that I have marked down on my list. I'm sure many other things have come out. There's a new single also from Pattern Seeking Animals, but I'll be talking about them more in depth in my review. But Slowly Falls the Flying Man is on my list as well. So fantastic. Lot of great stuff coming out. Like I mentioned, I'm really excited about the last little stretch of the year here. The next like 4 months are going to be pretty exciting and fun. I'm planning a new feature on the channel, which I'm really excited about. I don't expect it to get a ton of views or attention because it's just basically me talking about my record collection, but I'm really excited because it gives me a chance to listen to my records more and to talk about the music that really matters to me. Basically, the working title is Progressive Vinyl Club, you know, Prog Vinyl Club. where basically every week I'm going to pick out a record from my collection. Either one I'm getting new into the collection, or one that I've had in my collection for a while that I'll maybe shuffle into and do a dedicated listen to it and then talk about on the channel. Give people advance notice of what album I'm going to be talking about so that you could listen in advance. The idea is to kind of be a community listening experience, that we could all listen to the same album once a week and talk about it. You know, you guys talk about it in the comments, I'll talk about it in an episode. And I think that'll be a lot of fun. So the first one I'm planning probably won't be for this next week, but maybe the week after. I'm thinking of starting this on September 1st. I'm going to be talking about the Gentle Giant album In a Glass House, because I recently received the vinyl for the new remastered version. So I thought this would be a great outlet to talk about it. Just anytime I get a new vinyl in the collection, you know, talk about it, give my thoughts about it, and give you guys a chance to talk through it and listen to it as well. So I'm still developing ideas about it, but I think it's going to be fun, a way to have weekly episodes even when there's not a lot of new albums coming out. I also want to ramp up like doing a lot more album reviews. I've kind of taken a step back from album reviews a little bit this year, but I want to get back into it in a bigger way. I'm still going to do my monthly roundups, but I plan to pepper in a lot more album reviews throughout the course of the month as well. So that should be fun. I just want to really get excited. Going to that Neil Morse Band concert, seeing people excited about my channel and wanting me to do more content has really lit a fire under me. And I'm excited for content to come. I also love to do more like ranking episodes. Someone mentioned that one of their favorite things I do is like ranking albums and stuff like that. So I'm really interested in getting back into that. And basically my aesthetic for the channel moving forward is just to do what I'm passionate about, what I'm excited for. I'm also mulling over bringing back Jana onto the channel. We kind of want to do some more episodes together. It's been quite some time since we've done a reaction, the two of us, so we're excited about that as well. So a lot coming up ahead. Like I mentioned, this next week, Pattern Seeking Animals review. That'll be my first like kickoff review for this kind of new phase for the channel, but a lot coming up, you know, in the upcoming weeks. A lot of these albums I've been talking about in this news episode. So thank you guys for joining me. Hopefully you're excited like I am about all the new music coming out and all this news, and hopefully you'll stick with the channel and keep showing up for these episodes. So thank you guys for your support, and you guys mean the world to me. So thank you guys, and I'll catch you in a future episode. Bye everybody, enjoy the music.